My name is Pragati Kundala. So the topic for a field trip that we have chosen is boondal wetlands, which is in Brisbane itself. Our group member consists of Pragati, that's me, Madina, and Anamika. Uh, Moving on to the next slide. So we have chosen wetlands. So that is 15 kilometers from the north of Brisbane, and it covers Meton Bay, Shorncliffe, Nudge Beach, and Boondal. It is spread in vast area in 1150 hectares of land, and it is the largest known wetland in Brisbane, as per the research. Something little introduction about wetland. So the history it consists of, it was earlier was a home of indigenous, and it was really a great source of food, fiber, and medicines at that point of time. But in 1863, Catholic Church took over the place. But then again in 1960, Brisbane City Council, they acquired the place, and they did some development work in 1970s till 1980s. Finally, it was established in 1990, but for the tourist or as an environment center, it was open to public by 1996. This was a brief about the history of the place. Uh, Boondal Islands, as they're the largest Boondal wetlands, they're the largest known wetlands in the Brisbane city. So it's a wetland which is very much known for preserving nature. So if we talk about it plays a very crucial role in preserving the natural environment. It supports various amount of vegetation plantation, since it's a wetland, so the soil is really wet, moist, and really fertile, which consists of a lot of good sources which are very useful for the vegetation over there. And even if I talk about bird species, there are around 190 species of bird, which is really fascinating for the people to watch. It is also a very home for various wildlife, from your reptiles to your possums, squirrels, and all those things. You will find them in a lot of amount. It's their home. And then it's very much known for migratory shorebirds, which I really found fascinating. So now there's a place, Yatsu Tidelands. It's a place in Japan. So from there, a variety of these birds, they migrate to our to Australia in these Bundal wetlands, and they does do that in the month of March till September. They come here, they migrate here at a very great in a very large bunch, and they breed here. They reproduce here because of the suitable environment, suitable climate away from where they reside. So it is the best known place, and they stay here, migrate here for a few months, and then they go back. So which is very beautiful, which is very speciality of this place. This is how it's contributing towards the nature, towards the ecosystem, towards the natural wildlife. Now, all these, moving on to the next slide, all these fascinating things, it really created tourist interest in that. People really wanted to see and explore the place. So it plays a really good role in that. So as I just mentioned, in 1996, it was open for people to come and see the place, who like to be closer to the environment. So they have. Worked on their walking tracks made, their bicycle tracks made for the tourists to actually explore the place. As it is a huge place. It is spread in 1150 hectare land. Then there's a even boat ramp is available here for the boat rides and everything. Bird watching, as I told you, there were 90 species. That is very much done here. Picnic, but no camping is allowed, just so that the wildlife is not affected with the tourists. So no overnight staying or camping is allowed. But yeah, day picnic is very much welcome here. This majestic, mesmerizing view of majestic mangrove lined creeks is available here. And even they provide voluntary work for the, if anybody wants to contribute in the environment. Like as I see the picture, there was a cleaning camp happened some time ago where they're cleaning the natural environment. So this is all about Bundel wetlands, what they do there, and how it works. Thank you so much. Hope it was informative.
Hello, my name is Madina. Today I'm going to analyze Boondal Wetland Environment Center with DPSIR framework. DPSIR framework designed to analyze how human activities affected to the environment or vice versa, how environmental changes affect to the humanity. This stands for driving forces such as industry, human settlements or transportations. And P stands for pressures such as pollutants, land use, response use, energy consumption, water consumption. S stands for state and environmental quality, air quality, water quality, biodiversity. Uh, I stands for impacts health and environment, human health and ecological balance, economic damages, policies and states such as setting new rules, environmental strategies, environmental policies. In Bundal wetland, we can take as a driving forces tourism attractions such as bird watching, hiking or biking, educational excursions for school kids and employment opportunities. As a pressure, we can count infrastructure of road around the Bundal wetlands. There are highways located and 24 hours during the day and night. Constant driving, noise, and air pollutant can infect can be pressure, and residential or commercial buildings make pressure to the soil. Actually, when there is a heavy buildings on the land and the water system underneath the water affected severely, number of boats using during any time can in fact affect to the biodiversity of the biodiversity of animals on the water. Number of tourists, whenever there are lots of people, very sensitive environment of the Bundal wetland can be affected. Current state of environment state is sensitive species of birds and sensitive species of any animals as well in their living in Bundal wetlands. Sensitive ecosystem, air quality and water quality. Impacts such as behavior changes of birds and behavior changes of animals which are lived in the Bundal wetland. Plants and vegetations are hugely impacted. As a response, tourists should be monitored during season time. Over-tourism really affect to the sensitive environment in the Bundal. Educate tourists through signs, and a number of boats should be monitored anytime.
presentation is totally about tourism and environment. As a student of tourism and hospitality management, we are the future minds who can actually make some consideration, solution, few steps towards making the environment better and more, worthy of living. As a student of tourism and environment subject, we went to visit the boondal wetlands and whatever we found. And due to our research, we had made some points or some conservation techniques which could be used by the authorities to make the environment more greener and cleaner. So I will just start this presentation with a good old thought by Theodore Roosevelt, and the thought goes like this: the wildlife cannot speak, so we can and we will. So there are a few steps that I have mentioned personally in the presentation where which these steps would be very important towards making the environment, more making all the tourism activities more environmental friendly, and it would be more considerable for the animals, for the birds and everyone. So my first point is making the environment noise free. So the tourists and the visitors will visit the place and they will follow the rule of no noise. So when they will be walking down the lane or walking down the path, and they won't be allowed to make any noise. There will be the signboards which will be in the wetlands, and it would be written that whenever you are visiting the wetlands, whenever you are going from here to there, visiting the trees and you are observing the birds, do not make any noise. The second policy what I would recommend is it's about there will be the school children's will be in the school children's in their everyday schedule. Planting trees would be in their routine, so they can go to the wetlands on the weekends as a part of their trek, or as a part of their trip, and they will go and plant many trees, or maybe one plant, like one each of the student will plant one tree. Yeah. Then the third one is the visitors would be visiting the visitors who would be visiting the wetlands, maybe the backpackers or from the travelers from the different world. There would be one option for them that you can go and you can plant a tree by your own self. Cutting trees would be restricted if the common mass, or if the in the aboriginal or of the common people of the country, if they are cutting the trees from the wetlands, cutting trees would be totally restricted, and there would be strong fine and penalties if somebody or if a mass is found, uh, if they are found by the monitoring cameras in the wetlands that they are cutting the trees, so they would be totally restricted and they will be totally paying a huge fine and penalties, or they would be taken into consideration, so that the punishment would be including taking care of the environment too. The field conservation techniques in the third slide includes that in the wetlands, the food packets and the water bottles and the plastic water bottles wouldn't be allowed. So in the wetlands, there will be food. The food would be served from the entrance, and it will be on the leaf plates that we used to do back in the ancient India and 19th and 18th century. So that would be the food would be served in the leaf plates. And yes, the water bottles, the plastic water bottles, are not allowed in the premises of the wetlands because plastic is a major source of pollution and it's totally non-biodegradable, which takes long years. I mean, to say like 50 years to 100 years to decompose and turn into the fossil. So plastic wouldn't be allowed in the premises of the wetlands. Instead of that, there will be the clay and the mud pots, which will be in which the water would be kept, and there will be small classes of clay and mud which will be surrounded by it, and it will be all the pots will be placed in all the zones of the whole boondal wetland. So whenever the visitors will be thirsty, they could quench their thirst with that, and this would make the water very cool, and it will make that pot will make the water cool, and it will be worthy of drinking the water from that pot. So yeah, this is the kind of step that we can undertake for the conservation of the wetlands, and it will be a sustainable step as well. A group of 10 people at once should be allowed in the wetlands for the visiting purposes, because less people, more freer air. So for there will be some time schedules, like from in the morning 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. there will be only 10 people, a group of 10 people. Then from 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. it will be again 10 people. So less people, more freer air, and less disturbance to the flora and the fauna. And the second thing, what we can do is we can install the migratory birds tracking system, which will help us to bring back the migratory birds in the seasons of springs and winter, and because this migratory birds would help in making the ecosystem more efficient and more worthy of living. Yeah, that's what we can do. For the last slide, which is not the least one, I have made my own definition of the wetlands. For W, it's the wood. For E, it's the eucalyptus. For T, it's the tortoise. For L, it's the leaves. For A, it's the air. For N, it's the nest. And for D, it's the dodo. So, the wetlands is totally a mixture of all these things, of all the species, of all the animals, birds, the lakes, the trees, everything. Every green thing is in the wetlands. So yeah, it is our planet, it's our environment, everything is ours. So we are taking a responsible step towards it, we are monitoring it, and we are trying to make it more sustainable for the days to come in, and for the future generation to survive on it. Thank you so much.